But when they say my shop's struggling because of this, and I got to go, I can help you with that. And they don't take it. Well, I'm sorry. At some point, the technician me goes, you know what? You don't value me because you're still thinking it's 1972 and I'm living in 2025.
I default to it's the shop owner's fault way more often than not.
For sure.
It's these guys that get online and say it's impossible to hire a good tech. I'm paying $26 an hour. Must have own tools, must have diag experience, must have. There's no good techs left. There are good techs out there. They just don't want to fucking work for you for peanuts.
The following program features a bunch of doofuses talking about the automotive aftermarket. The stuff we, or our guests may say, do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of our peers, our sponsors, or any other associations we may have. There may be some spicy language in this show, so if you get your feelings hurt easily, you should probably just move along. So without further ado, it's time for Confessions of a Shop Owner, with your host, Mike Allen.
So Jeff, how are you feeling this morning, man?
A little stiff.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
I
noticed that you were getting stiff while you were wrestling me last night. I thought maybe you were super excited about the opportunity, as it were.
Well, it's like a lot of animals that are in a cage, right? When the people start to rattle the monkey cage, that some things happen biologically. Yeah.
So, yeah, you can't do anything about it. It's okay.
Well, I have that effect on a lot of people. You know.
Oh, so you enrage a lot of people.
Well, I mean, engorge, enrage, same thing. So,
yeah.
I appreciate you though taking one for the team like that. It was good. The flatulence when you landed though, we all could have done without. Tanika messaged me after and she said, "That suit smells funny." And I said, "You have to talk to Mike about that."
I think I deserve thanks for the fact that I had the strategic mindset to lobby for us being first because they wanted us to be last.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm not getting in that suit after 10 other people have been in that suit because it seals in the juices and the flavor.
I couldn't believe, I don't know how long it actually took me to kick your butt. It felt like 90 seconds, but I think we were out there about 5 minutes.
I feel like it was 3 or 4 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
But getting into the suit and out of the suit, and it came off easier than it went on because it was like dry and your skin would stick to it going on. But when it came out, it was like slick with urine and
it had a funny smell.
It was bad.
What amazed me was I was the one that actually got to Velcro up Brian Pollock in the back, and I don't know if anybody noticed. I actually had to tug on the material to get it tight enough to go around Brian.
He's a big dude.
He is a large individual. Did you see when we arrived in the Miata yesterday?
No, I missed that.
That was
he
a great
looking
video.
down at the hood from over the windshield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's.
I can't believe he got in it. So I thought we were going to need a engine hoist to get him out.
Yeah, that was a good video. That was a solid video. Good job, Braxton. Good job, Braxton.
Super proud of you, Braxton. You're a big boy.
Yeah. He was the most impressive performance last night.
It's going to go sideways, I promise.
Is it not sideways already?
Yes, it's terrible. My God. Oh, my God.
So, for those of you who don't know, I'm joined today. Well, everybody knows Jeff, but also there's your shop owner from Long Rock, North Carolina.
Yep. I'm new to this.
Little bitty place, L&M Performance.
Mm-hmm. I aspire to be just like Mike Allen.
I think you're breaking out into the industry. I think people are going to know you eventually.
Yeah. I don't know that I want to be known. I don't know that I want to be known at this point.
Fame is hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah. I've watched.
I can honestly attest to that. I'm not saying I'm famous, but it's. I remember now I was talking to somebody this morning, and I can so relate to Paul Danner. The first year I was here, and I was with me Paul was talking.
You were fanboying all over him.
Well, he would go down the hallways, and he wouldn't be able to stop, or wouldn't be able to get to where he's going in any reasonable amount of time because people are constantly stopping him trying to thank him. It's that way for me now, and it's it's. I keep saying it's a heavy weight sometimes to carry in terms of that many people that just want to share a couple minutes, and by all means I love it, and I handle it better than Paul. But it is I never expected in my life that many people would want to actually just meet me to say thank you. It's humbling.
Even being a board member changes these events for you, right? You know what I mean? We used to go to events to have a good time, and I remember when the association was small, right? There were everybody that was here we already knew. You know what I'm saying? Like we had not grown to that point
Yeah.
with the association. And so when we went to training classes, when we sat down and it was just hanging out with your friends to go to a class, and now it's very much changed the dynamic for us, right?
Well, I think my dynamic might be a little bit different than y'all's because people want to stop and talk to you about how you've improved their business and their life and how you've made such an impact. And with me, they're just like, hey, where's the Miata, you little bitch?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know. They want to stop me and tell me how terrible David is.
I could see that.
Yeah, they want to tell me like how much they dislike
I'm
David.
concerned about David's rage issues. After the last episode that we recorded, Brian really thought he was going to have to protect me from physical attack.
I think it's the testosterone.
I was just.
I think maybe you could use a little bit of that. Like we could, you know, I've noticed that there's
I am a temple of peak male performance. Thank you.
I'm just saying.
Why is
that,
Jeff specifically laughing at that? I don't know.
I'm just saying
because I
that.
threw you around the ring last night. You're far from peak.
You paid a lot to be able to do that, sir.
So, firstly, people know I don't have $5,000 extra.
Hey there, I've got to tell you about something new for our industry, Tectonic 2026, presented by TechMetric. This isn't just a user conference. It's built for the whole shop. Owners, advisors, and techs each have sessions designed for what they actually do every day. It's 3 days in Houston, Texas, filled with workshops, panels. We're expecting over 1,000 people from around the country. You don't have to be a TechMetric user or customer to attend. Tap the link in the show notes to check out Tectonic 2026. Grab early bird pricing while you still can.
Look, here's the deal. I like to think that I'm pretty good at running an auto repair shop. It's what I've done for 20 plus years, but I'm not good at managing a marketing budget and all the different facets of a truly well-rounded marketing plan. There's mail, there's local advertising, there's website, there's Google AdWords, there's all the different things that go into that, and it's just not what I'm good at. So what I've chosen to do is to buy myself the time to focus on what I am good at while having someone else execute on all of those things at a way higher level than anything I could ever do. That's what turnkey auto marketing does for me. So if you feel like you could use some of that same magic, I'm going to recommend that you go to turnkeyautomarketing.com, get a free consultation, tell them that I sent you, tell them that Confessions of a Shop Owner sent you. You won't be disappointed.
Why'd you ask me for $6,000 the night before?
That was for a completely unrelated thing. That was some bad people that were after me.
That was for
about some stuff, and I had to pay it off. And I knew you were the only person that would come through.
Listen, bro, if they're charging you $6,000 to fix that piece of coax behind your house, you need to go see somebody about that.
I heard that it was for hookers to blow.
No. First of all, you can't call them hookers. That's not an okay term.
Yeah,
It was
it's
a
not
fishing
politically
tournament. It's
correct.
a fishing tournament. What were you talking about?
Your OnlyFans history, I think, is what I was talking about.
Speed Finder.
It's getting.
I asked Brian if I could get in on the Feet Finder game, but he said I got to get my toe fungus under control first.
Hey, bro, look,
It's a killer.
you can fit both sides, right? Like, I've noticed the estrogen levels are getting a little bit high. I know about that now because David's explained it all on the
Yes,
podcast like
yeah.
10 times. And so I've noticed, like, there's some puffiness happening.
Well,
and, I'm just saying.
They're firm though. They're
Bro, I watched them bounce through the sumo suit last night.
I had one rub up
about
against me. It's not firm.
So anyway, should we try
Braxton's just like,
this conversation
this
is
is going to be a mess.
It's right off the rails at this point.
Yeah.
All right, so we could sit around for hours and just talk bullshit and make immature jokes with each other because that's my favorite thing to do. But having the opportunity to talk to the two of you together on tape is pretty rare, right?
Yeah.
And Lucas, I mock because that's what I do. Your walkie-talkie videos, but you've been hitting a lot. You've been hitting a lot of high points and a lot of conversational points and getting a lot of engagement with some of that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about how there are multiple ways to serve our community.
Yeah, for sure.
And be profitable.
Yeah.
And take care of your team.
Yeah.
And it can be more than just the way that I do it. It can be more than just the way that you do it.
Yeah.
Why does our industry insist on shitting on people who do it a different way than the way that I do it or the way that you do it?
That's a really good concept, right? And I've been thinking a lot about that lately. And I've thought recently, because, I look up to you. Like, we joke and we pick, but I really do look up to you, and I have for a long time.
Yeah.
There's things that you do that I'm not okay with, like the way that you run your business. And to be honest with you,
everything about your life and your choices.
No. I messaged you the other day, right? And I was saying, like, hey, is this method working for you? Because I am a little bit jelly of like how much additional revenue it brings in, right? I think my concern is, like, I'm trying to look at this from an outside perspective, and I'm trying to look at where the industry is right now. And I feel like some of this has created the environment we live in right now. And I think that it can be short-sighted. And so some tactics can cause, like, yes, they make me money right now, but long-term they have a negative impact and take our industry in the wrong direction, right? And so I've tried to look at this from the perspective, okay, let's look at HVAC. Let's look at plumbing.
Slow down, back up a little bit. Why does it have a negative impact to operate your business in a manner that drives car count?
This makes me extremely nervous. No, it's not that it's... I don't think it has a long-term negative effect on my business.
So then what specifically has a negative impact on the industry?
I think that some of the thought processes, right? So I'm not even flat rate pay, okay?
No.
Because a lot of people got
I think
upset.
flat rate conversation's dead.
It is, but here's the thing: is they got upset thinking that I was saying one thing when I was saying something completely different. I'm not saying not flat rate this or that. Hybrid is a version of flat rate, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about is take care of your people, do the right thing. Now I know you do that. Right? Like, we joke and we pick, but I know you do a good job of taking care of your people. Right? And if you weren't, you wouldn't be okay with that.
Yeah.
But there's some operators that listen to what you say and they say, I just want to make the money. And one of the best things that I've ever heard, and David talks about this often, there was a person who was once involved with everything we're doing, right? Years ago. And, we had the mastermind group. And I will never forget the conversation. I was part of the conversation. This person goes to David and says, like, hey, because, this all started with the mastermind, right?
Yeah.
ASOG, it was the ASOG.
ASOG started with the mastermind, not the expo.
Correct.
Okay.
No, ASOG, long story short, ASOG was just a Facebook group. We all got into it. Somehow David started a mastermind because he wanted to take his business to the next level. God knows what happened. That didn't happen.
Well, he helped other people take their business to the next level.
He did a
and
phenomenal
he got more angry.
Yeah, exactly. But this person said, nah, man, I really just want the boat. Like, I don't care that it hurts the employee. Like, why is that my problem?
Say I don't care that it hurts the employee.
That is what they said. I was there. They said, I don't.
So that's a bad person, and there are bad people in
I
every
understand that. But I'm saying that there are people who would listen to some of the things that you say or some of the things that I say, take that and spin it and do something that's negative for the industry in the long term. Now, you ask me, what do I think that is negative? For instance,
if you're like me, there's always hidden revenue in missed maintenance sales or overlooked customer concerns. Detect Auto helps auto shops unlock that revenue by analyzing vehicle service histories, pinpointing maintenance recommendations, and equipping advisors to confidently address customer questions. It's easy. It integrates with your existing software, and your team will love it. Check out detectauto.com and see how your shop can stop guessing and start selling better service recommendations today.
The rolling the die again and putting it into that charge, which we're already expressing, saying, hey, my labor rate just went up, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that right, wrong, or indifferent.
Oh, I think you are saying it's wrong, and that's okay. You can believe that. You can be wrong. You have the right to be wrong.
In the long term, though, I believe that what it's doing is it's training the consumer.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that we've trained the consumer up to this point. Think about dealerships and think about consumer scores.
Yeah.
Right? How important is a CSI score to the dealership?
Well, I mean, they think it's the all-in, and they screw their advisors over it.
Absolutely. And they use it as a tool to reduce bonus.
Yes.
But are you telling me that we didn't use that, so the advisor all of a sudden is given a ton of free stuff, the consumer learns, I can come in here and bitch and whine and cry and complain because the advisor doesn't want to lose the CSI score. Now all of a sudden the advisor's giving free stuff away, beating the tech up, whatever they have to do to keep that score from dropping. What did it do? It trained the consumer, right?
Well, so I think what we're talking about here is business model variance, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So who pays for you to close your shop and bring all your technicians to this event?
You do.
Yeah, the consumer does, right?
Yeah.
You build it into your labor rate,
of course,
and you build it into your parts matrix. just like your direct mail, just like your Google AdWords and your SEO work. It's all part of your business model and your expense structure. And so I think what people fail to realize is that for the model that I'm trying and failing sometimes and succeeding sometimes to execute, that's part of my new customer acquisition strategy.
Yeah.
And the difference is, AT&T is going to give me a new iPhone if I go sign up with them if I'm not an existing customer. But I got to pay for the next one if I'm already an existing customer. I'm not going to do that. If I'm going to say that Diag is free, Diag is free. And what I'm advocating for, I believe that if you are a general repair shop in a metro area that is trying to grow, it is a 100% home run methodology. And we can get into all the reasons why, but you guys don't need to hear me pontificate on that. Now, if you're a specialty shop, if you're booked out 2 weeks, if you are in a very rural market or a small town, I don't believe that it works. If you're booked out for 2 weeks, you should never give anything away.
So
for sure.
I'm going to step in here for a minute because I think going back to what you said, and you kind of started it and it kind of went a different way, is the car count driven method of how we do this business, right? Or whatever you want to call them, rack attacks or cheap oil change or stuff like that. I think that, and I'm not going to ever say that it's not effective for generating. It is. But I think what Lucas and I talked about a long time ago was that sometimes in order to bring the change for the whole industry, we've had to take a step back from that, right? I just need all the cars and I just need all the customers and I need to maximize the production in the shop. That's all been good for years in terms of making a couple of key players in the industry, money, but it hasn't left yet the consumer with a good feeling about what we do. And I think as professionals, when we sit here and we say we actually want to change this, when we see some people that are still, like we've heard talk about a certain particular group, when they're still pushing a narrative that I know is just old, tired, regurgitated stuff sold to the aftermarket now because it's all dealer ploys. I take issue with that because then that immediately is now going, I feel, for our industry, a step backwards. And it's something that, as somebody that was spent a large part of the time in the dealership side of things, and now I'm in the aftermarket, it kind of gives me the creeps when I see what was commonplace there start to trickle down into us. Because I think the dealer people, they have no interest at all, like we talked about last night, in trying to change the industry. They're in survival mode, 100%. But if we sit here and say we have to change the industry, sometimes then it means that we might have to back down the car count method, the maximum production method, to change that image for a little while in the customer's eyes, consumer.
Can I ask you a question along that line?
Yeah.
So the model that you're trying to execute on and that you see, because I mean, you've been in dealerships.
I've been
new.
everywhere.
You've been in used dealerships. You've been in fleet shops. You've been in aftermarket shops.
Yep.
So you've been in all of it, right?
All of it.
The model that you think would be the ideal model from your perspective, I think is relatively similar to the model that Lucas is trying to execute on.
Yes.
Do you think that there can be a shop owner who has 30 stores across a region and executes on that model?
No, it's not possible.
So if it can only be done in ones and twos, and we have an industry with over 100,000 aftermarket shops, do you think that real change in that methodology is possible?
From my perspective, I think that real change is possible, but we're going to have to reach people who are not necessarily aligned right now. Do I think that change can happen? Yes, I do. Do I think that that will never work in a scalable model, right? Yeah. Now you look at the Shake Shack model, right? You look at unreasonable hospitality, because that's really what the person that we were talking about, one of the coaching companies, is talking about. Hey, offer unreasonable hospitality. Charge the bazookas for it, right? Whatever you got to do, lay it to it. But it's the unreasonable hospitality model. That is probably easier to implement, but we're doing unreasonable hospitality while focusing on providing a really high quality product and taking care of the team internally. That's very hard to do at that level, because all of a sudden, right? We were talking about this last night. Take a KPI, for instance. That employee has to become a KPI, right? Because I don't know every employee. I don't see every employee. I don't engage with every employee. I don't have a personal connection with every employee. And is it realistic to think that Walmart, their CEO, are they going to have a connection with every employee? No way, right? And that's just it. It's like I recognize, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I recognize that my model wouldn't scale to other shops, right? I get it. But I also know that what we're doing isn't sustainable. We've got to find something in the middle. Because just look at, that's what I was going to say, is look at HVAC, look at plumbing, look at all these other trades. And what did they do? They realized people aren't coming to work for us. We have to shift. We have to do something different.
Well, they also got consumed by equity money. The mom and pop shop is a rare thing now.
For sure.
Long. They
For
fail
sure.
or they get acquired.
Yeah.
There's been massive consolidation in the other trades. We're just next up on the shopping block.
For sure.
So let me ask you this: you've done one of your walkie-talkie videos about this. Start with the end in mind, right?
Yeah.
So, what is your goal? And I think that's a disconnect that we've had is that we all assume that everyone's goal is the same as my goal, or some people do, right? You find fulfillment in a different way than Jeff does, and Jeff finds it in a different way than I do. So there are a lot of people at this event right now. There are a lot of people that serve on our board of directors that find fulfillment in being a pillar of their community and having one incredible store and being able to do anything that anybody needs. And, that is what makes them happy. And so the model to execute for that is very different than I think I know what my number is and I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
And in order to get to that number, I'm going to need to add more stores. And so I cannot, if I'm there and I know every customer and all of their kids' names and what sports they play and what position they play in sports, and when they walk in, I can ask them about the other two
Dude,
cars
that's overwhelming, right?
There are people who are incredible at that, right?
Yeah.
And so this is the average of the industry. And when you're like that, you're right here. You are the top of the top. And you get to 2 stores, you've got to be okay with being right here. And you're still way better than everybody else. And you get to 3.
Yeah.
4,
And it's
5,
impossible to maintain,
6.
right? We know that.
And you have 120 stores and you got thousands of employees. You don't know them all. You don't know any of your customers to speak of. There's going to be an erosion over time. So at what point do you go from being paragon of the industry to being what's wrong with the industry? How much money, at what point do you have enough money that you become evil?
Well, I don't think that the money piece is what generates the evil concept, right? It's the treatment of the people.
It's a well
and so there's the big issue is, if you want to dig into it, okay. I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say this. I don't want to say that I came from money, right? But I've always had a good life. You know what I'm saying? I've always had a really good life. My parents did amazing things to take care of me and my brothers. I've been given opportunities that nobody else was given. And so I've had those things. I didn't find reward in those things. All I found when I had the extra money and when I had all that was that people were trying to take advantage of me, and I felt like everybody was coming at me trying to get something, right? And that's not a way that I want to live. I didn't find reward in that. And so that's guided a lot of who I am today.
That is awesome. And you just made something go off in my head, and I could be totally fucking wrong. That's normally what happens. You always knew that there was a safety net and that you were never going to be homeless, right?
Yeah.
You were never going to worry where the next meal came from. And so with that sense of security, it's easier for you to hold money like this.
Yeah.
And not
Absolutely.
have the want of money. And so many of the talking heads in our groups in our trade that are small business talking heads have a little bit of fallback and a little bit of a safety net. My wife is a pediatric dentist, right?
We know she's the breadwinner, bro.
The shops could all go bankrupt and we'd be okay,
Yeah.
right? It wouldn't be the end of the world. My dad built a very good business that I grew up in.
Yeah.
So I never had to worry oh shit, I'm going to have to go pawn something to make payroll, right?
For sure.
There are lots of the big names that maybe you don't know in this industry, or that the general listener or viewer doesn't know in this industry, that came from money.
Yeah.
And they are proponents of fucking give the world away, right? Everything. Yeah. And then there are people who came from dirt, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And for them, money is the prize, and they're hyper money motivated because they were hungry
Yeah.
and they, had that hardship when and they're hyper successful. Like some of the biggest coaches came from a really bad situation,
Yeah.
and they're hyper successful, and they're not ashamed to say that they're money motivated. I don't think money motivation is evil per se. Money is not evil.
No.
Money is inanimate. It's what you do with it.
I've worked for a lot of people that didn't treat me really well, or value me is probably a better word to say, that some of them didn't have a ton of money. So it wasn't money that made the motivating factor for how they valued me, right? It was sometimes the inability to look at what actually is making the money come in. Right, that's where I was as a technician perspective. That's where I always stay. So there's been lots of people that like. I don't want to say that like, oh, the rich people or guys that are money motivated, because everybody should be money motivated in the sense that we need
Everybody
enough.
is to a degree. It's
We
just
need
how
enough.
much you need.
Yeah, we need enough of it to survive. Right. I see the people, and we've talked about them, you and I. Some of the people behind the scenes that, like, I look at them and they're going to their fifth shop, and they have a car collection that looks like that. How healthy is the rest of their life? What are they really trying to replace? What are they trying to overcome? And that's a sad plight, because I've seen it. I've seen it with people that are, dealt with addiction, and it's got nothing to do with trying to accrue anything at that point. It's trying to fill up a hole. Yeah. And that's not a good place for a lot of people to wind up. And I see them in this industry. I can spot them a mile away.
So I think the risky part is there 100% are dudes, men and women out there that are like that.
Yeah.
That on the surface are hugely successful and are hollow on the inside, right? But what we can't do is say, if they are big and successful like that, then they are hollow on the inside. Just because there's some, it doesn't, because there's some dudes out there who are incredible operators, big operations. They do huge numbers. They make a ton of money. They take really good care of their people. They take decent care of their community, right? And they're not hollow on the inside. They're super fulfilled.
Yeah.
They're super happy with their life. And that's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So
for sure.
One of the analogies that I make on a regular basis is I'm the best driver I've ever met. I'm intelligent. I'm safe. I'm aggressive. So when I'm driving down the interstate, I don't care what the speed limit is. I'm going to go my speed, right? And if you're driving slower than me, get the hell out of my way and follow so that you can see what greatness is, right?
Right.
And if you're driving faster than me, you're clearly fucking crazy.
For sure.
And
for
so
sure.
if your business is bigger than mine and makes more money than me, clearly you're a crook and doing something wrong. And if your business is smaller than mine, you must be an idiot and you should do everything that I do because I'm smarter than you. And we have a lot of that mentality in this world.
Let's think about this for a minute. What happens? It's the circles we get in. You get into Jeff's circle, right? Everybody in Jeff's circle. I've been treated poorly. I've not been paid well. It's not, and listen, I've been on to him for a long time. Hey, buddy, seek first to understand the whole story before you speak, right? Because we talked about it last night. He's been talking about a guy who, he's their lead diag tech, and he only makes, $26 an hour. I can't believe dude only makes $26 an hour. Well, you don't know the whole story. Maybe he's on a hybrid pay plan. Maybe he's not producing, and the shop owner's saying like, dude, I'll give you $26 an hour, but like, hey man, you're billing 10 hours a week, right? Like this isn't going to work. I can't do this. Mm-hmm. And so I'm saying like, hey, you need to be a proponent because you are a talking head in the industry. You are a voice in the industry. Now you need to be able to communicate with them and help them find a way, right? Because maybe they're not having the hard conversation, right? Me and you have learned to have those hard conversations and say, hey, Bob, listen, dude, you're not performing. This isn't going to work. It's not just about the money. We have to figure out what's wrong here. We have to fix this, right? But there's a lot of shop owners and a lot of techs who have never been taught that. Well, in my circle, right? Who are the people that are in my circle? They're small shops. They are struggling. They're trying to find their way, but they're not comfortable doing the Mike Allen thing, right? Well, I want to make the industry better. Well, the people in my circle need a little bit of a boost. Hey, don't forget about your people. This is not a message saying don't make money. It's a message saying to take care of your people, you must make money. You see what I'm saying? But it's like, hey, don't forget them. Don't throw them away because that's what they're afraid of. These people help me build this.
Coaches that obviously they won't say it in front of a classroom full of 100 people.
No, they won't.
But in casual conversation around the dinner table or whatever else, there's a view that employees are cogs in a machine.
Yeah.
And Walmart sees it that way, and they have to because they need
How else could you manage
employees.
it? How else could you manage it?
So that goes back to the question I asked earlier: is like, at what point do you flip that switch from being
That's just it. It's like, I know you're a good person, and I like, we joke and we pick, but like, you wouldn't be my friend if I didn't think you were a good person.
Yeah.
I know you're a good person. I don't think that you're an evil shop owner. I don't think that switch has to flip.
I just want to push right up to the very edge,
Right,
And
yeah.
stay on the good
Yeah, you
side
want to put your toe in.
I don't think there's a dollar amount where the switch flips. I don't think there's a size of the business where the switch flips. I
So you're
think
saying it's like pornography. There's not a line. You just know it when you see it.
when you feel it. When you feel it,
Just
that's
the tip.
when
Just the tip in.
Yeah, that's when you feel it's when you know you're in trouble. But I guess what I'm saying is that there are people who are in different phases of this right now. They have very different perspectives. Now, if we want to improve our industry and we want to bring them up, well, we have to have a message for them that works for them. And I resonate with that message. I have been in businesses that have taken advantage of their people. I understand why they're afraid of that. Right? Now, look, I am not a strong enough operator to develop systems, processes, policies, and procedures that allow the business to scale. Yeah. I'm just not that guy. I don't know how to do that. I'm a good talker, right? But that's where my skill set runs out. Yeah, I talk pretty. Right? But that's where my skill set runs out. And so, like, I have to have either put people in place that can do that in the business. I mean, you know this. I hired a manager. And dude would have absolutely put processes and policies and procedures in place and made the business do huge numbers. But I was not okay with his way of doing it. I was not okay with what he was going to do to the people in the situation. He had to go. He wasn't in alignment with me. But that doesn't mean, like, hey, he can go out and do his own thing, make a ton of money. I mean, like,
He'll be a good employee for somebody else.
yeah.
You go back to a dealership, run a service department.
Dude, I'm going to tell you,
grind
like,
on people.
the belief of that person, like the things that they were okay doing, they were okay lying, cheating, stealing, whatever it took. As long as I leave this situation with more money in my wallet than you do, is exactly what they said.
So how do you? Because I was a bad hire.
Yeah, for
on
sure.
your part. And so did you hire from a position of desperation because you needed it, because you were burned out, or was it how do you evolve your interview process to avoid that?
I spent the most time and the most energy in that. What it was is I had a technician tell me that I didn't know how to manage and run a shop and that I need to hire a manager. And I said, okay, fine, I'll hire a manager.
Here's what I know about this my brother is that he hires from a place of optimism. He sees more potential than most people he ever sitting across the table from than actually really exists there. You know what I mean? And that's a beautiful quality to have. And when we talked about him hiring this person, I kind of could feel the same thing. Like, okay, that poor young man coming in there is going to have
get sucked into the trap of I can fix him.
Yeah. An adjustment process, because like it's completely different at L&N versus what he comes from. I know it's the same thing. I joke with him, but I don't know if I would be able to fit in his. And he loves me and I love him, because there's tendencies about the way I approach this job that are still back from my old life. And then there's things that like he would look at me and go, dude, and I'd be, what, man, this is just the way it goes. This is the industry from my perception and the way I was bred into this to think. It doesn't fit his model all the time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it's wrong, right? I'm a good fit for somebody else, I think, eventually, you know. But it's a situation of that, to try and take him now and reprogram him back. He's too far in. He's too far gone. That was never going to work.
Yeah.
You know, not because you couldn't do it. If anybody can do it, it's you. But because there's too much in his history of how he's been indoctrinated through that dealer mentality. You can't change that.
He grew up poor, right? He didn't have any money. And he was always like beaten on, and his dad was really rough on him and all this stuff, right? Like, so it was a situation.
So we were talking about a minute ago.
Yeah. And so he has a very different perspective of life.
If you come from a place of extreme want, then money can become your God if you're not careful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's a dangerous place to be, right? And I don't know that anything I say or you say or Jeff says or anybody else says would ever stop that, right?
Braxton, what verse is it? It says, money is not evil, but the love of money is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Proverbs? It's Proverbs, right?
He is.
Yeah.
He's the lightest Christian we know. He's like,
My wife could quote that.
Yeah,
If
he's
Paul
a
Danner
Christian
was here,
light.
Paul would be able to tell you exactly.
David,
Proverbs.
Hey, somebody go grab David. I just saw him walking around. He'll know.
So I have a comment for you and a question for you, Jeff.
Okay, give her.
One, I had my eyes opened significantly 2 years ago at the Expo when we recorded an episode, and you helped me realize that my opinions and my confidence and bravado, everybody comes from their own personal experience, but my personal experience was very narrow.
Yeah.
Because I grew up as a little kid at my grandfather's shop, and then as a teenager and a young adult at my dad's shop. And so I'd only ever known shops that treated people well.
Yeah.
And so I hear all these stories from Texas and be like, dude, just fucking leave. Why would you ever put up with something like that?
For sure.
And
For
I
sure.
think we were talking on one of your episodes a couple years ago, and you're like, you don't effing get it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like that almost everywhere. And there are very few places that don't screw their technicians over.
My phone now proves that.
Yeah.
Because as this platform for me is getting bigger, it's multiple messages a day saying either hearing you realize that I wasn't alone, or hearing you gave me the motivation,
courage
to go try something else. And it sucks for me. I hate to see somebody leave an independent shop to go to a dealer where they're going to make more money and get some more training. Unfortunately, they're going to pick up some bad habits, right? It might change their moral compass, but because I want to cheer for the aftermarket side,
What
right?
if that indie shop would invest in training? And
Well, this
get
is
some
it.
better benefits.
But we've had that conversation with the guy where the shop owner will not attend, will not pay, will not discount. Like, it's all about, again, it goes back to the discount thing. I want to help that customer out. I want to be what's fair.
Okay,
the two words
then help that customer out, but that's a you choice.
Yeah.
My employees shouldn't take on the burden of my choice to give something away.
Sure, but if all you do is want to help and be fair, the two words that piss me off in this industry more than anything else, and you do it all day long and it becomes your marketing strategy. You don't spend a nickel on marketing.
Is
but
that
everybody
why
knows.
when I asked you to be fair and help me out last night, you turned red, I saw a little glaze come over your eyes, and then you jumped on me?
You said, go easy on me, champ.
So that was my comment. And so thank you for giving me that perspective.
Yeah.
Because it did change. I was a little more self-aware that I didn't know what the reality was in the world because I'd only ever been in my family business.
Yeah.
The question is, do you feel like your growing notoriety and your personality is making it harder for you to be employed? Because I would be scared to have you as a technician.
Hey, it's me, Mike's kid. Want to tell us your wild shop stories? Or maybe you just think my dad's totally wrong. Call us at 704-CONFESS and leave a message. You can tell us we're awesome, or you can tell us we're idiots. We're cool either way. That's 704-CONFESS. Just don't make it too weird.
I've said that very same thing, and in a very near future, I'll probably will be unemployable. I mean, we joked yesterday like that. Brandon Steckler was saying I'm unemployable, right? Because he is at that level, and I'm not trying to say I'm at the level that Brandon Steckler is, right? But it's not, and we're not talking technical ability that might make me.
It's personality, man.
But it's a situation of like when I start to associate with some of the shop. You and I have talked about this ad nauseum, the shop owner thing, and I start to get it at an understanding that even some of the shop owners that might employ me don't get it at. It's very hard for me. It just becomes want in their ear when I start talking.
I think some of the other big tech personalities have lost their jobs because of their online presence.
So I'm very fortunate that the current employer that I'm at absolutely loves the podcast, listens to it, wants to be on. I've never had a boss yet that wanted to be on. I've had bosses now, we've talked about this last couple of years, that they know about me and they'll hire me. Now, what that's getting is the situation of it's like, well, they know that I can really fix cars. I can do some diag, right? I can get some stuff done. That's why they're hiring me. But when we get in there and we start to, those certain trigger words come up, and I'm like, whoa, hold on. Let's go back to where this is really what I've been taught, where the wheels really fall off. It's not in the back side of the shop. It's out front. If you have a technician spending 25 minutes looking for a wheel lock key because your service writer didn't do the due diligence of finding it and asking the customer, if they write half-ass reports down, that's all time that the technician can't get back. And then if we're billing like class I was in yesterday talking about, it costs $6 a minute to run your shop, $6 a minute. So if you have them wasting 10 minutes at a time, you just threw away $60.
Which brings me to my next point. Detect Auto is a great app to use with your TechMetric subscription to cut down that time and improve the quality of your service advisor write-ups. You should investigate Detect Auto and TechMetric. Okay, sorry.
was the.
So
I would, if I was Sunil Patel right now, I would be saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe I agreed to this." So here's the thing: is I think it is so important that we have our little family, right? Like, because we're all really close friends, we all talk, and that perspective is really important, right? So I balance him out because he gets super wound up sometimes, and you got to think, who are the people we're talking to? You talk to one group of people, I talk to one group of people. He talks to one group of people.
He's got a much bigger group of people that he talks to.
Right? Well, he's always on social media. I can guarantee you, if you send this dude a Facebook message,
How many
he's gonna get it.
walkie-talkie videos have you made so far this week?
I've not made any since I've been here.
I've got a treadmill and a green screen.
That might work out.
he'll ramp them up then.
Yeah.
You didn't come to the hospitality suite last night. I know you needed to get some rest, but I have a treadmill with a green screen behind it, and people were doing walkie-talkie videos.
That's
last
awesome.
night.
I really want to make sure that I get on that throne and take some good pictures on the throne.
Yes.
Lola got some good pictures on the throne.
Yeah,
last
I saw
night.
that.
I think she did it better than anybody else.
Yeah.
So
That doesn't surprise me at all.
But here's the thing: is that like I think Jeff's perspective can very easily be skewed by the number of technicians he talks to.
Yeah.
and by his experience, yeah.
Right. And so it's I have to work to keep him balanced, and we have to have conversations. We have to talk. We have to navigate through some of this because he's not seeing it from the shop perspective, right? For the longest time, he said, I don't like the word production. I don't like the word efficiency. And it's like, bro,
Gotcha.
I hate to tell you,
It's just
like
part
if
of
the
it.
shop doesn't make money, right? You've seen me say in the past couple of videos, money does not grow on trees. Where do you think it comes from?
So I have a confession to make.
Yeah.
This is confession to the shopper. I see your videos, your walkie-talkie videos. I don't actually unmute it. I
Yeah, I
just
don't
see
either.
that you're doing it again.
And
And
like-
if anybody tags me, then I'll go back and respond to the
Then you'll
comment. But
unmute it.
I still don't
Yeah.
actually watch it.
Yeah, no, I only tag you just to inconvenience you a
Okay.
little bit,
Super.
right? Like that's why I do that.
What you should do is you should make like a 5-minute video, and you should comment and be like, "Hey, Mike, I'm really sorry that I didn't get around to what we talked about until the end of the video." And make me sit through the whole video and then don't fucking mention
That's
anything.
genius.
That would be good. That would be good. That's a primo idea. But I don't know, Mike. I think that we're all in different spots in this, and we're all in different levels, and we all have different experiences that have led us to where we're at. I don't think there's a right. I don't think there's a wrong. I do know, right? So like 20 years ago when he and I became friends, I was doing things that were very ESO. And why was I doing those things?
Ignorance.
Well, because you couldn't afford not to because
Exactly.
your business wasn't running well.
Right, exactly. The business was a shit show. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I didn't have any money, and I knew that it wasn't working. Ryan Giddings is here, and you should try and find him and grab him and sit down and talk to him because phenomenal story, right? Had a technician that's been with him for many years now. Technician's here with him right now. He came to the iScan conference in Ogden, Utah for the summit or for the institute. And we sat down and he said, I just knew you jackasses were going to pull me in and talk about how I need to treat my technicians better. And he said, those stupid dudes don't know what the F they're doing. They don't know how to do anything. I have to clean up all their effing messes. I mean, dude is raw as it gets, right? And he's just freaking out. And he's like, but man, he's like, we sat there and he said, y'all are talking to me about like I need to have retirement. I need to have a backup plan. I need to have a strategy. I need to know where I'm going next. And he's like, so I didn't realize. He said, then I started getting some training and I realized that the problems that I had were not that my technicians were all dumbasses. It's that I didn't know how to run a business. And so now I understand I don't have to be a jackass to them. They're still stupid. He stood there in front of his technician the other day and said, he's still stupid as shit. But like, I'm telling you that the problem wasn't what I thought it was. Right. And so it's the same thing. And I think that Jeff gets in his head sometimes that it's really the shop owners. Sometimes the shop owners get in their head that it's really the tech.
Yep.
So sometimes it is the tech, and sometimes it is the shop owner. But I'll tell you that more often it is the shop owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think we are wallowing in the shitty bed that we have made for ourselves as an industry. And and we get back to that. Well, how are we going to change the industry? I think we cannot change the industry. We need to make our own bed.
Yes.
So we need to change our own shop and grow a business that takes care of people. And if enough of us grow successful businesses that take care of people, we'll be better off.
Because you and I had a hard talk about the technician that you had to let go recently, right? And it comes back to that topic that always pops up again about how techs are overselling themselves. And it's a big, big problem, right?
Owners oversell themselves to techs.
and a lot of
Shit.
people,
I know I do.
And a lot of people ask me what do you do about that? And I'm like, all I can do is try to the young technicians, especially that speak to me. All I can tell them is like, you have to continue. This is not a job. This is a career. It's like I told a young man, Isaac, last night, that you have to train this like it's a muscle. You have to constantly, every day, try to do 1% better and improve on your skill set in your brain, your knowledge. Because when your body goes away, you can't produce. This is the thing.
Yeah.
The production thing is, it's great when you're in your 20s and your 30s. And the guys, there's all earmarker exceptions to the rule that say, I'm in my 50s and I still produce. Yeah, you go to the gym all day long. You're like Roman, and that's cool. Some of us are not that, right?
Roman can't walk, by the way.
Yeah, I know, right? It's
But
pretty
if we keep building our brain, I still bring value every day as my production backs off. It's the situation of where people are only looking at production and not at the value of what I bring. And that's the thing. I will become unemployable. He has said to me 2 years ago, we have to get you out of these shops.
Yeah.
And that was deep for him to hear it, because I'm like, shit, does he really think I'm that incompetent? He doesn't think I'm incompetent.
No.
He just knows that as I'm starting to see the other side, it's hard for me to
You're going to get more angry more easily.
not angry, but walk that line of like not being able to correct either side. I can take a technician to task and say, you need to do better on this, and this is where you're failing. And I can also take a shop owner to task and say, it's not working because you're not listening to the people that I network with. They don't give a fuck who I network with. Yeah. They don't know Mike Allen. They don't know Lucas Underwood. But when they say my shop's struggling because of this, and I got to go, I can help you with that. And they don't take it, well, I'm sorry. At some point, the technician me goes, you know what? You don't value me. You don't judge me. You don't determine my value, because you're still thinking it's 1972, and I'm living in 2025. So this is where I'm always walking that fine line of.
And I default to it's the shop owner's fault way more often than not.
For sure.
It's these guys that get online and say it's impossible to hire good tech. I'm paying $26 an hour. Must have own tools, must have diag experience, must have. There's no good techs left.
Yeah.
There are good techs out there. They just don't want to fucking work for you for peanuts.
That's why they start their own.
Or other side of the coin, the guys that are on there that are bragging about their $300 oil changes and how they don't give shit away and not my customer. And then 2 months later, they're like, what are you guys doing for car count? I don't have any cars. Business is down.
Well,
you don't want to fucking hear it.
It's almost impossible to. It's almost impossible to pinpoint it, right? It's almost impossible to understand who it is you're talking to, and are they even telling the truth, right? You can't use social media as a marker, right? It's really, what is the shop doing? How is the shop performing? And so I don't even read the comments. The number of people. I mean, I had a 25-minute argument with a guy the other day. Not an argument, but me just telling him
Discussion.
like, honey, I don't think you understand. He says, oh, I own my own business. I keep 100% now. No, you do not. Right? And like I'm explaining over and over again. Now, here's the problem. This is the tech turned shop owner. Does not understand. Does not get it. What damages our industry? That damages our industry.
Well,
right? And if we can bring those that are coming in up, and then look, they can pick whatever model they want. They can pick whatever system they want.
What were most shitty shop owners doing for a living before they were shop owners?
Fixing cars.
Fix cars. Yeah.
So it is a self-feeding cycle.
Yes,
at least the small independents. And so that's why equity is coming in and scooping everybody up, because they're professional money makers. They're professional business operators, and they're coming into an environment with no competition.
Yeah.
Because these dumbasses, all they know how to do is fix cars. They don't know how to run a business. They don't know how to look at a balance sheet and how to read a P&L. And we're going to come in there and we're going to fucking kill them.
Yeah.
And they're doing it.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, look how many have sold their shop, fire sale at the end of the day, did not have any money, did not have anything to bargain with, didn't understand the business's financials. How many times have I told the story about the shop in my town? Dude says, I want $2.5 million for it. And I'm like, well, where's the P&L? Well, I don't have a P&L. Oh, well, here, my accountant will get you one. Let me get you one. And then it shows up with it, and it's like, okay, well, you've not paid rent, you've not paid yourself.
We're like, yeah, but I took $120,000 of cash out the back door. I should get paid for that too.
Exactly. Like, sure, great, that's awesome. But the business isn't worth anything. Ends up selling it for $600,000, and even then, it wasn't worth $600,000.
It's worth assets and inventory. Somebody's overpaying just for the marketplace.
Yeah,
access.
absolutely.
So, if we have an industry that's being taken over by private money because we're so bad at business, that's why it is important, if you want to have a career and have a business as a technician turned shop owner, to be at stuff like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
At stuff like Elites Ignite coming up in January. At what was the one in Utah? Mars.
Mars was
Mars.
it. Yeah, you've got Mars, you've got Apex, you've got tools, you've got...
Yeah, so you need to invest. You need to come to these events, and if you are a shop owner, you don't need to be coming to the technical classes.
No,
they're great classes, but you need to learn how to be a business person.
Yeah,
because you can be a world-class technician and a shitty shop owner. It's going to grind you down to a nub. It's going to make you angry, and then you're going to go from jaded mechanic to jaded owner. You're going to become a bad boss, and you're going to take advantage and abuse your employees, and you're going to create more angry technicians. You're just going to feed the cycle.
There's a better way.
So if you want to survive in this marketplace that is evolving rapidly, not just survive, if you want to survive and thrive and reach your dreams and support your community and support your team, you've got to learn how to do it differently, because it's not going to change if you keep doing what you've been doing. If you want a different result, you've got to do some shit different.
Yeah.
Stop making excuses, get off your ass, and come to Raleigh.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
100%. I'm gonna pick your brain on something. We're gonna flip the script here a little bit, because you talk about the evolving market, right? We talked about this last night. Let's take and the example I used last night was BYD. You know what BYD is?
Nope.
Giant car company.
The
Massive.
Chinese,
way bigger than Tesla, right? Subsidized by the Chinese government. Some of that's backing out right now. The Seagull is their baseline model, $10,000, right? All day long. So
I'm sure it meets all highway traffic and safety standards.
Believe it or not, it does.
It does.
It does.
The 30-mile side crash test it's got.
Dude, it's unbelievable what they've done. All the bells and whistles in this car, right? Really nice car. Really nice features. Really nice stuff.
Is it serviceable, or do you just throw it away and get another one?
You throw it away and get another one. That's the whole
We
plan.
got talking about that last night at 10 grand, right? If that car comes in and it needs 4 tires, brakes all the way around, couple control arms and a tie rod, in our market, you could be up to a $5,000 bill.
Yeah, just go get a new one.
Who's putting $5,000 into something you can replace for 10?
Now,
It depreciated to $7,500 when you drove it off the lot.
right? Why do you think they're not here yet? Is because the big three. I mean, like, obviously, everybody's going to fight to keep that from coming here. But the reality is what does that do to our market? What does that change in our market? Right? And I think we all know that the manufacturers and their dealers, they're not necessarily friends. Okay.
No.
Right? Like there's a divide.
There's friction.
Yeah, between the two. And so I just wonder, what are your thoughts? We look forward 10 years, right? Does that change your thoughts on your model, where we're going, how this is going to look in 5-10 years? Because that is one of the things I'm taking into consideration in all this, right? Like, why have I not expanded into multiple shops? One, everything that's been going on. That was the plan, right? Yeah. And then all this happened. And like, I'm not going to lie to you. There was a chunk of me, and I think you know this, but there was a chunk of me that was sitting there saying, something doesn't feel right. So this concept of like growing the shop, getting it to its max potential, buying another shop, something didn't align in here with what I wanted. And I couldn't figure that out, right? And I wandered for a long time after we got the shop done. I don't know why. Like, something didn't feel.
I think you should sell your shop and focus on helping other shop owners.
Maybe so. But here's the thing.
You think he loses street cred if he doesn't have a shop actively?
Well, so that's a very good point. It's very hard for me sometimes when I see people that come into certain coaching groups and sit up there and run a classroom and tell them to just, play the short game. And
there are also coaches that have shops just for the street cred,
right?
And don't give two shits about their shop. They just,
and don't even work it. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that just in the time that I've been doing the other stuff I've been doing, I still know the numbers off the top of my head. I still look at my KPIs daily, but can I speak with the same authority that I spoke with when I was in the shop every single day?
Because you've been there and done that. You can for about a decade, and then you'll
Right.
become
Well,
you'll
but I
lose
mean, even
relevance.
then, like it's I'm not thinking in the same way that I was thinking, right? Now, I think it's been beneficial, right? Because like when everything happened, all of a sudden it was like, aha, this is why nothing felt right. It's because I guess divine intervention, this is what I was supposed to be doing next, right? It felt like I had purpose in what I was doing again. And I felt lost after we built the shop. Right. And that's one of the things you hear Michael Smith, he's doing leadership intensive at the shop in October. Right. And you hear him talk about, he said, when we're in Fortune 500, he said, everybody hates it. But we say, okay, here's your goal. And he said, then we get close to the goal. And he's like, I'm moving the goal up. He's like, oh, the employees are screaming and oh my God. He's like, has nothing to do with the goal, has nothing to do with the money. He said, it has to do with momentum. We're focusing on keeping the momentum moving. And if you ever hit your goal and you don't have another one lined up ready to go right away, he's like, the momentum dies. He's like, I can show it to you on paper. It just happens. It's a human thing. And so that happened to me because the
Take your foot
shop
off the gas, you cross the finish line, time to start coasting.
Exactly. Well, when I built the shop was what I envisioned,
What's the
right?
goal?
It was like everything was about that shop from the time I started the shop. And so then I had it, right? It took me 17 years to get it. And I worked my ass off to get there. And then I had it. And I'm like, I feel like I'm wandering aimlessly. I'm out in the middle of nowhere just trying to figure it out. And so then all the stuff with the family business happened. All of a sudden it had purpose again. You know what I mean? Like I felt like I had a reason to exist. I felt like I had a reason to be doing something. And then it's really interesting because now, like my shop does what it does really well. The numbers could be a lot better. We could put more people in it. We could hit better marks all the way around. Okay. But what's interesting is that now that I'm working in the family business, it's opened my eyes to other things. It's opened my eyes to hospitality. And how can I bring the hospitality that we offer at the family business?
So you're saying that you need automotive hospitality.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know somebody for that.
I think I'll pass.
Hey, what do you get more fulfillment from? The repair shop, the family business, or the media stuff?
I get more fulfillment from seeing progress. That's where, that's the thing.
Such a bullshit answer.
No, I'm telling you,
That was not one of the three choices.
No, I'm just telling you, I need to see things progress. I need, like, why do I answer 250 Facebook messages a week? I answer 250 Facebook messages a week because I find my reward in seeing those people make one little change in their business and it get better.
If you've messaged Lucas on Facebook and he didn't get back to you, that means that you weren't in the top 250 of people that he wanted to talk to.
Bro,
so you know.
I don't know if you know this, but when you get to 100 Facebook messages in a single day, like the people at the bottom are really hard to get back to. Like you have to scroll forever to get back down there, and they disappear. You don't realize.
It means he doesn't like you. It means he doesn't care about you.
How many messages do you answer, Mike?
All of them. Unless I don't like you or care about you.
Braxton, how does that feel considering he doesn't answer your messages?
As long as he pays the invoice.
That's exactly right. But, you know, I think that for me, the reward comes from seeing progress. The rewards come from, like I like a big challenge. And, you know, the family business thing, I've never undertaken a challenge like that. I've never been faced with something like that. Did not want it, right? I've been accused of, like, trying to make this happen because that's what I wanted. Bro, anybody in their right mind who would want that mess is fucking crazy, right?
Where do you want Lucas's life to be like in 5 years?
I don't know.
Start with the end in mind.
Well, of course, I've got a goal in mind. I want to create an awesome life for my kids. Yeah. I want to create sustainability. I want to create a world where they don't have to want for something, but they have to work for something.
Yeah.
Right? Seth Thorson said to me one time, he said, I will never give my kids my shop. And I said, why? He said, because I want them to work for it, because unless they work for it, they won't value it. Right? And I've watched that happen in the family business.
Well, that's
situation.
your own father's mantra.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not so sure, though, that...
Unless it was Brett, then he just go whatever he wants. Brett. What's
but I'm not so sure that, like, these people that say, I don't want to ever, like, I'm going to make them earn it. You know what I mean? I'm not just going to give it to them. I think that's all for a lot of them. It's just lip service because I don't want to name names. It's a situation of I've watched them, and it's like you talked about the nepotism thing last night and how as long as he's known me, I have an issue with it, right? And
I mean, dude will straight up rage out over it.
Yeah,
straight up
because
rage out.
it's there doesn't. I see too many with that. Going back to the safety net thing, right? They're not the star player a lot of the time. That second generation that the family blood runs in, they are not the star player. They're not the key player. They're not like they're there, and they're not. It's not that they're go without consequence. It's not that they don't get reprimanded. But man, like to me, it's if you want to truly be the leader, they have to become the key player. Otherwise, when you walk away from it all, I see it crumble. Too many times I've watched the shops fail because guess what? They didn't. They weren't the leader.
I was 100% the boss's kid for a hot minute. And I would talk back to Dad at the shop, and we would yell at each other. And I remember I would get to work like 5 minutes late every day. 5 minutes late every day. And then Neil Meyer, I think it was Neil, who was the store manager for my dad at the time. And then there was a lead service advisor, and I was a service advisor at the time. And he said, "Hey, Bobby, you ain't got a hair on your ass unless you send Mike home for showing up late for work." And because Dad wasn't really involved in the business at this point. And so Neil was trying to deal with the problem, but he didn't want to send the boss's kid home. So he made one of the other guys send the boss's kid home.
Right.
And that was when I started to grow up a little bit. And Dad did make me earn it.
Yeah.
But I got a steep discount, right? So I bought the business from Dad, and it took me many years to do it. But I bought it at a discount over what it would have cost for someone else to buy it.
Looking back, because we had a really deep conversation standing in between the elevators of floor 9 last night, right? And
We did?
No, me and Jeff.
I'm pretty sure I wasn't drinking last night, and I would have remembered that.
No, trust me, you won't remember those conversations, Michael. We had this deep conversation, and we're talking about our parents, right? And like, Mom's not with us anymore. Mm-hmm. And so that was for the longest time, I didn't value their input, or I didn't value the time I had with them. Right? Because those are the only people who will truly love you until the end. Those are the only people who will truly fight for you in your best interest if they're good parents, right? Those are the only people who are truly on your side in life. And so Jeff was talking about he's having this argument with his mom, and she's like 78 years old. I'm like, bro, you don't have time to have arguments with Mom anymore, right? Like that will be gone at some point.
Cherish every moment, right?
Yeah, for sure. And so like here I am. I look at that with my dad, and I'm like, I don't think he's right about that. Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean?
Does it freaking matter? If I don't get to talk to him again, am I going to be worried that he was wrong about that?
Right. And has that changed in your perspective as well?
So my wife gives me constant reminders about that because her mother passed away 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So we were talking about that the other day because we weren't even engaged yet when her mother passed away, and she's estranged from her father, and so when I get really busy and Mom and Dad are going to be in town, she's like, "You need to stop what you're fucking doing and go be with them."
Yeah.
Because, that's a finite number of chances that you're going to have that. And make sure that the kids get to be with them.
Yeah.
Right. And so I appreciate that perspective that Amanda gives me. And I'm really fortunate that I have a really good, really healthy relationship with both of my parents, and they have a good, healthy relationship with each other.
Yeah.
So I came from like the all-American cookie cutter family.
Amen. Yeah, for sure.
Picket fence, 2.5 cars, dog outside, that whole deal.
Yeah.
So I'm aware of the fact that I had a pretty good setup going.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
But,
I'm with you.
and at the same time, my dad built a business, taught me how to run it, and stepped away in 2016. And I laugh when Mark Pons bought Dad's location in Chapel Hill in 2016. We went out and we had some drinks at the Cronkleton on Franklin Street and had a great meal that night. And then I didn't see him at the shop for months. And when I saw him, it was to empty a can of waste oil because he built a shop and had a lift behind the house, right? He probably came to the shop twice in the next year.
Right.
He did not micromanage at all. And I think that was great leadership on his part to be able to give me enough rope to sink or swim on my own.
For sure.
And that was before I had bought him out, right? I was still buying that sector.
Yeah.
Because we had 2 stores at the time. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's tough to know. It's tough to know what to do. It
Where are
really
you going
is.
to be in 5 years?
I don't know. I'll be 50 next month, and then after that, and like I did not see myself still pulling on a wrench at 55. So or 55 is going to be my cutoff because I don't physically I don't want to do it anymore, and I can't. I won't be able to. It's just and it's so funny. I know a tech that's 10 years older than me, but has been out of the industry now 20 years because his body's just shot, and now he does little renovations and stuff like that. 5 years for me is if we can continue to get the message out from the podcast of what it's doing, and I'm finding a job that will pay my bills and leaves me fulfilled. Whatever that job may be is what I'll be doing.
Well, perfect. I would say I know that we got to go. We're pushing up against a time limit, but I would challenge you that if you know you're not wrenching in 5 years, yesterday is when you had to start figuring out what you're going to do in 5 years.
Absolutely.
And you need to be getting to what that looks like is going to be a long process, but every day has to be a step closer to rather than further away from that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So I think you're going to be. I think you're going to be the biggest automotive podcast in America.
Yep.
No, I don't think so.
Your audience is bigger than any of the other ones. You strike a tone that elicits emotion from people, and you give a shit when you're at these events. You don't blow people off.
Yep.
You don't keep walking your nut head down. You love these people that you're dealing with. I think you're onto something really big, dude. And I think that needs to be your focus over the next 5 years.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, I'm just trying to do everybody in this room proud. That's what I'm trying to do.
I'm proud of you, bro.
Proud of you, man. Bro. Very cool.
Thanks everybody.
Guys.
Yep.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our video today. If you enjoyed this content and you'd like to see some more, you can click right here. And it would be really helpful for me if you thought that this level of mediocrity is something that could help your other friends that were shop owners or in the industry. You can click right here and subscribe. You can even set up notifications if you want. I'd love to have you on the channel.